Okay, welcome to the stream. Little bit something different today. Yeah, something really different. Let's just, make sure that's running, that's good. Yay, we like when things are working. We want this in here. Right, what you'll see on the screen, albeit from a very odd angle there. Let's pull that way. Ooh, looks nice from there. Yeah, I thought I'd do a bit of a comparison. So, on the left, you can see Project Cars 2 running on this Oculus Rift. On the right, you can see GT Sport running on my PSVR headset, which is sitting down there. I, of course, still have the stupid nose. News on the nose. We'll be seeing a nose-throat specialist on Monday at the hospital, so hopefully I'll get some good news soon and get something done about it. But in the meantime, it still means I'm bunged up. But, hey, never mind. This is what tissues are for. Right, and there is a bin down there. Just want to point that out. It was all bin. Nothing but bin. No backboard, no nothing. Just straight to the bin. Good. Okay, so, yeah. Seems like a bit of an unfair comparison, but we don't have that many race games on the PSVR. A lot of people hoped for something like Project Cars 2 to come to PSVR, though with the restrictions on the PS4, we all know what would happen in terms of graphics. But we're going to have a bit of a comparison. So, first of all, what I'm going to look at is the Nürburgring, the 24-hour, so the extended course between here on the Oculus Rift in Project Cars 2 and on the PSVR with Gran Turismo Sport. Now, I'm going to be in the same car, so in both cases it's a Lamborghini Huracan GT3, so both the cars are the same. Let's have a look at the interiors first of all, shall we? We'll take a quick look at the interiors. Right. So, over here on the Oculus. Oh, I should have the voice chat sorted out as well, by the way. So, if you are chatting, feel like chatting, you come along, then whatever. Jump into chat, ask questions, I shall try to answer. First thing to note, you can probably see that it looks like a very thin display here. And that's because I've actually got a virtual helmet on, which I really like. But let's turn that off and give you a more max view, if I can. That one. Oh. So that's one of the things. There we go. Project Cars 2, you can change the view, even when you're in VR. And as you've seen, they've got exterior ones, front car, they've got straight in the seat here, they've got without the body, or they actually have with the body and a helmet. And I actually like having the helmeted view, because obviously that's going to be the most realistic. So that's really cool. But in terms of the car itself and the details, it's got a full-on race seat, race harness, everything around here. The sharpness in detail here is, you can read all of the things here. They don't clip you off when you move to have a look at the rest of what's inside here. So, Yeah. You can... hear that roar. And the panel's all good like that, so you can see all the different things there. I haven't particularly started going. It's on a training session, so much like the time trials available. Frame rate wise, I have pretty much all of the graphics settings here are set to the lowest settings possible in Project Cars, because my machine is not a beast of a machine. It's only got a GTX 970 in it, so yeah, I'm expecting clipping here and there. The graphics not to be absolutely amazing, but what they are is sharp. So what's here is sharp. Let's move off a little. So, well, actually, that's the interior. That one. So that's this side. Let's give you a proper look over. Here you go. So as you can see, there's the full screen for you. And back to the comparison. Yeah? We're roughly in the same place in the track. Right. Down there, and change over. I need glasses on for PSVR, of course. I've got prescription lenses in the Oculus, so they're a great help. Let's try this. Obviously I can only have the, it moved a bit. Okay. Right, so looking around the car, you can see it's a good bit darker in here. There is stuff here we can read. The display there is readable. We don't have as much of the wraparound of the thing there. Details aren't quite as clear. It's a bit darker. Some bits that kind of reflect a little bit different. And we have an overlay which we can't change. Let's just go back to where the other car kind of is, which is somewhere around here. So, yeah. So you can already see graphically on the exterior, it's not that bad of a difference. It's a bit more blurred, obviously, on the PSVR, but then you have a bit of a trade-off in the screen door effect isn't as obvious in the PSVR as it is in a Rift or a Vive. So there is that, but then you have the resolution boost that the power that the PC has got can afford you. I am playing on a Pro here, and I do have the M-Cable Gamer Edition, which does help smooth out some jaggies now and again. But overall, it's pretty damn immersive in here. And like for like, the car models are pretty detailed. But Project Cars just wins it on the ambient lighting in here, I think. But that's not too bad of a thing. Let's get around the track a little, and we'll see about other parts of that. So, track-wise, I'm using the gamepad here, but if I was using the steering wheel, it feels pretty good in Gran Turismo. This is one of the things that, you can definitely pick up Gran Turismo pretty easy to get used to. Obviously, you do have to still treat it a little bit more sim-like than Gran Turismos of the past. but you can sort of like get away with some different things. We'll get up to that main section of... I'm going to take this in sections, I think. We're going to go round the track in sections. And sort of like see how the differences play out there. Obviously I haven't got any sound at the moment because my headphones aren't on. So if you do have questions, I will answer them as soon as I see them. We're going to come round. We're just accelerating off, careful with the grass, and we can come down into third here, and across, and we can still pull it around, and then down into second. Yeah? I'm going to park up here. This is like your start of the normal, that's the normal pits, as it were, for the Nordschleifer section. So I'm going to drive Project Cars up to this point. Then we're going to switch back and do another comparison. Okay. This is a little bit different than I was planning. It's a little bit ambitious. Hopefully you guys will like it. Okay. Excuse my nose again. Let's switch this up to full view. There we go. Okay, the car is running. We'll put her in first, and away we go. Sound in this game is really good. And already it's going to punish me. Okay. You have to be a good bit more gingerly with the accelerator in this game. It's nowhere near as forgiving. Should be able to make it through this next one in third. Climbing up, brake point is about here. Turning in. And again off the gas. Still in second. And gas through. Foot to the metal. Now, in Gran Turismo, I can make that in third. Here, it's second. Okay. We're going to leave that there for a moment, all turned off. So yeah, the interior is definitely a lot more visible. There's some added extras in this interior that you don't have over the other side. But yeah. The steering though, it really does feel a lot more scary in Project Cars than it does in Gran Turismo. I think Gran Turismo is a good bit more forgiving in car with the driving dynamics, whereas Project Cars, it feels a lot more active in what it's doing with the steering wheel, and more liable for the cars to, if you mistreat them, they're going to bite back. So, yay. I kind of enjoy that. Right. Oh, that's an odd view. Let's do that. Let's do a full screen of the PS4. So, full screen with the PS4. I need glasses, don't I? I want a bit of sound this time. I'm going to put this on. Put that through to there. Okay. So this time I can get a bit of sound. Ooh, careful with the wires. Okay. Sound. That's better, I can hear it. Right, I can relax back in it. Right, we'll get on the road from where the other car is. The other car is just up here on Project Cars, so we'll take up to a little bit of an exciting place, or poor driving on my part. Nice dangerous hill, this one. Speeding up. You got this part comes down, then it comes up this way. 6th gear, but we're going to go down to 5th here, because otherwise this could come off. And there's the brakes all the way down to 3rd. And then to 2nd. Exit in 2nd. Let's take this next combination. It's one of these we have to be a bit more cautious around here. That's 2nd down here, and then it comes around this corner in 2nd, and you'd be accelerating away. We're going to stop around there, though. Right. So, that looks pretty good. I mean, it feels pretty good as well. Let's put that in reverse and see if it holds it. Nope, it won't. We'll crash it into a barrier there then. Nope. Let's try and put it up down. You can see what bumping into the barrier here does in GT. It's kind of amusing. Let's try and face it uphill then. It looks like it's going to move somewhere no matter what, so we'll have it just gently moving that way, I think. There we go. Okay. Going back to Project Cars. I'm going to take this further around. Much further around this time, actually. Okay, let's start the car back up. I want the helmet back on. There we go. I've got a helmet view. It just makes it more real. I don't know why. It adds something to it. It's taking away some of my vision, but it somehow feels right that I've got something on my head and I've got a helmet vision style of thing going on. It's even got like a little bit of a reflection there, which yeah, the reflections change. That's cool. Okay, this is an exciting bit. Oh. Yes, come on. Yes. Well, this is what I love about VR. I mean, the amount of money that it would cost to do this in a real Lamborghini, and there's nobody that's going to just flat out lend you a Lamborghini to do this in this way, not knowing your capabilities, because this is a deadly track, of course, and this is a hugely expensive car. Oh! Oh, that is so close. And I stuff it into the barrier trying to get reversed. Come on. There we go. So yeah, it's a lot less forgiving in Project Cars 2. That extra sharpness again does come in handy. Not the be-all and end-all. The track, of course, they're very similar. They've both got very detailed scans that have been done. Cars-wise, they've both got a lot of really good cars. You can see, obviously, with the settings I've got, I do actually have pop-in that's happening. Frame rate-wise, this feels okay. If I had a lot more power, that would be even better. So, you know, if you do have a PC that has a huge amount of power, then having driving simulators like this is just the best way to experience them is in VR. Little cautious there, and then down to second. Ooh. Do have to thank, obviously, Gran Turismo in a lot of ways, because one of the things that it has allowed me to do with VR is I find it a lot easier to remember the tracks once you've actually done them in VR. So you learn the track a lot more because you're used to the hills and the sort of sway of it a lot more easier. It becomes a much more recognisable place, a much more real place. And of course that changes how you approach something when you're driving, because knowing how the rise and fall is has a great deal of influence over how a car behaves. And that does go for both of them, though I do still feel that Gran Turismo is definitely the more forgiving of the two games. It really does feel like Project Cars will basically snap your neck if you get out of line with it. It really does be a little bit more fearful. Which I will show you something else a little while, which really did actually, whoa, terrify me last night. Not full on terrified, but enough for me to go, whoa. coming along to the straightaway. Played it safe there. .245. That's in kilometers per hour. We're up in 6th gear. 260. Not tuned out yet. .270. There we go. We'll just take it down to the end here where we started the last time. There we go, engine stopped. So, let's have a look at something else here. Overlays. I can literally turn on a wealth of information. I've got a rear view camera there. I've got some current lap positions, things like this. Timing, what's going on. So, general fuel, speed, MPH, the tyres, what they're up to, the engine, stuff like that. Then we've got a reduced view, which is this nice little thing. And then we've got more different parts here. I can reset the views there. We've got different parts in here that just tell us everything we're doing in telemetry. Yeah, so you can see my telemetry on there. Where the gas pedal is, things like that. Power usage, torque. The whole rebound, PSI. All these type of things. We're on hard slicks all the way across. There is other menus that we can do here, so I can change everything up in here. Which is kind of, you know, incredible in itself. So that's kind of cool. Just all available on the steering wheel. That's something else as well that is amazing. But I can also turn any of the overlays off, and you know, I'm here. I can also take a little look round. I mean, that's a scary prospect in itself. Let's get that back there and go through another view there. So straight at the bottom of the track there, obviously if you was down here you'd probably want something maybe like that on. Track position. We've got, what else do we have? No. Where was it? Oh, that's the wrong one. Close. Oh, rear view. Where's my buttons? There's my buttons. So left, straight in there, just off to the side. See, that's what we look like. And then like that. Okay, let's move back over to Gran Turismo. Oh, hi guys! If you just joined the stream as well, if you've got any questions, chime in. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Comments down below, things like that. That's great. I'll try to answer any questions people have. Let's move back over to the PS4. And we'll finish the lap off there. Then we're going to take a bit more of a look at Project Cars and do sort of like some feature versus feature things. So, I mean, obviously, one of the things to kind of note is that with Project Cars 2, the whole game is in VR. Everything. Gran Turismo, we only have the versus one AI, which the AI is, let's face it, dumb. I mean, it's dumb. Then we have the time trial, which took a long time coming, doesn't have ranking boards yet. And that would be good. I think it needs that to encourage a little bit more competition. Though anybody else, I think, as well, will be saying, okay, time trial, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, actually, you can actually spend quite a lot of time in time trial. And I have done. Because it can be quite an amazing trip. I think I did that with both. We can see some of the obvious differences there, but Gran Turismo goes from 1 to -1, whereas Project Cars actually does have the neutral. So I think time trial does actually add a lot to Gran Turismo Sport, but it would be still nice for there to be even more. Things like actually doing some of the driving test stuff in VR would be good. All stuff like that would be, where you've got a task, something that's challenging to accomplish. Not doing too well at the moment. But you can see how forgiving Gran Turismo actually is with the crashes compared to Project Cars. where it would just slaughter me. This bit's always fun. Too fast. Come on. There we go. Get it back together. I love this sequence here. It's so cool when you go through that. It just works in VR. I guess one of the other things is how it treats the player, as here you're cushioned a bit, and the motion in Project Cars feels like it has a bit more of the edge. It feels a lot more like you are properly connected to the driver a little bit more, rather than the straight up horizontal view. Because here in Gran Turismo Sport you're actually locked into the horizon, so it's actually more locked into the racetrack rather than the driver's bones, as it were. You'd expect a lot more high vibrations from the car. If you were locked into the driver's bones, as it were. Oh, messed up. Recovered that though. And we're back here. Okay, what we're going to have a look at is, we know that unfortunately Gran Turismo is a little bit limited in its VR modes. Ooh, smoke. That'd be from the tyres and the brakes and dust. Kind of cool that it does do that. We're going to come out of there, and we're just going to take a look at something straight away. So, you can play basically all of the tracks in Gran Turismo Sport in VR, which is good, and the same goes for Project Cars 2. Most of the cars in Gran Turismo you can use as long as you have them within your garage. As we've seen, Project Cars 2 actually just pretty much lets you take cars out for a spin if you're just wanting to try something out. Let's go into that so you can see the tracks that we've got. I like a bit of fun with the Gran Turismo stuff because there is some definite thrill rides in here. but we have like some real tracks, and we have a mix of fake tracks as well. And I don't mind that as a practice. I like having a mix of real tracks and fantasy tracks. We can have a look here and like Brands Hatch. So I actually want this full Grand Prix circuit. Say Brands Hatch as a thing. We're just going to use daytime. So one of the things I really do like is actually a bit of a thrill seeker ride in some of this. So for my cars that I have, one of the ones that's kind of cool, I think, is this F1 car. I don't have the Red Bull, the full-on Red Bull one yet. That's kind of good fun. But in Project Cars 2, they have some Indy cars. They will be about equivalent. So I'm going to use this as a sort of a test bed. Because doing something in one of these cars, I think that's where Gran Turismo really comes in, is using, using the cars that you wouldn't in real life get the chance to drive. And, well, across both, in fact, driving around these tracks, with cars that you'll never get the chance to drive. But here, like I say, in Gran Turismo, we have a tiny bit of a problem. And it is literally that we have one car to play with. Well, sorry, one AI car to race against. And they don't really race, they're plod. They really do. So time trial is actually a lot more interesting. Racing yourself does actually give you a goal at the very least. This is going to be one of the more scary prospects, because this is an F1 car at Brands Hatch. Which is a pretty scary proposition. It does bring me a great amount of fun to do this as a it wants to be a little bit more aggressive than some of the other cars. I mean, it's an F1 car, it shouldn't be so easy to drive. I overstepped my bounds there. So yeah, that's pretty good fun. Now, this is where the really big difference lies. Let me take this off. Oh, I've been dying to sneeze for ages there. Oh. Right. We're going to look back here at Project Cars 2. So, as I said, we can pretty much do whatever car we like in terms of just having fun outside of career mode, as far as I've seen with Project Cars 2, at any of the tracks. With Gran Turismo, not all the game is playable in VR, so you do have to play the 2D game to get rewards. And that means cars, tracks, anything like that. One of the things they did change is they allowed any of your mileage in VR to count towards your actual mileage out. So it does help there that we do have that. Now, with that in mind, let's do something in Project Cars 2 that we cannot do in Gran Turismo Sport VR. The big missing element. And something that basically nearly scared the pants off me last night when I tried it out for the first time. Because it's a lot more unforgiving in Project Cars 2, and you'll see that. Let's also want to be easier to do that in the headset. Right. Down or up? No, up. Up brings that up, which I don't want. Out. Left. Left. That's it. So left changes that. So what I'm actually going to do is bring up the full menu here, and I can just aim to my head to look, or I can use the same sort of things there. So I'm going to exit out of here. Yes. And we're going to build a little something up that we can't do in the VR version of Gran Turismo, and that is actually have a grid full of cars. 15 opponents. I like the sound of that. Right, we're going to change out the cars, so I'm going to be in... Where's Honda? I know people are going, what? You was in a Formula 1 car before? Well, we don't have Formula 1 cars in here, but what we do have is Indy road cars. So you got oval and then a road course. So, it's an Indy car. F1 car, Indy car, they're quite close in some ways. They're both extremely exciting to drive. They both have 200 mile an hour top speeds. They both have crazy power. They both have crazy acceleration. We both just did this on Brands Hatch, but this time...
Opponent settings is where you decide the opponent's...
There we go.
As well as the size of the grid, the car classes the opponents will be racing in, and if you're not including a qualifying session, in what position you'll start the race.
Yeah, so we're good on that. Oh, this is going to be good. It really did scare the life out of me because this is really unwieldy. Like I say, the difference between the arcadiness of Gran Turismo, though not full on arcade, because it does actually still get a good amount of the feeling of what I think you should get. It does definitely in here give you more of that, and I'm going to have, obviously I've got the full race helmet bit where it's actually blocking out view as well. it's a struggle to keep that in check. And it's this thing of the grid being there. Oh, sorry. That was just... oh my god. It was very forgiving me on the crash on that one. Oh. Oh, come on. Here we go. Right, back on track. But this is as real as gets, and that's a scary, scary prospect. Oh, such an amazing thing. I think we really are taxing my computer a lot at the minute. I'm getting some frame speed issues because obviously I'm streaming from the same computer that I'm playing from, and as I mentioned, it's not the most powerful. Oh, come on. But after this, I think I'm going to close down. But yeah, this is the bit that is the type of thing that we've all wanted for a PSVR game. Even if it's a bit lower resolution, to have something that gets you this type of thing. If the resolution is low and it suffers in terms of the look, if it's still good enough to keep the immersion level, that'd be great. But I think part of it is the level of simulation in this game is a little bit more higher in terms of demand than Gran Turismo. And that's kind of cool. And that I could actually do this in a career mode throughout this game is another thing. Ooh, too much. There we go. So I've got a lot to learn about controlling the cars in this version, but in terms of immersion, I really do love this whole... Ah, that is incredible. Come on.
Those blue flags are for you. Let them through.
Yeah, so there are more. I'm being lapped basically, so I've got to let them pass. I should be banned. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Let's do the very. Let's do the unsensible thing. Let's really scare myself with this. They think it's all clear. It won't be in a minute. Not when I'm done. Oh no, it's not going to let me. See, I don't know, you can set up rules in here. Okay. Oh, it is incredible. One downside I will say, I've had some sound issues last night, and I heard a couple of it earlier as well. And you get a crackle of a pop thing that comes along. But in terms of what they do,
Flag, let them through.
I don't want to let them through anymore. I want to be in amongst them. Keep. Ooh! I need a lot more practice with this car. Anybody who owns a real life Indy car, don't let me anywhere near it. Real life Indy car, I wouldn't do this the same way. I would be treating it a lot more different.
Okay, that's your best Sector 2 today.
Okay. We're starting to get there. Starting to get the idea.
They're giving you the blue flag, let them pass.
No, I don't want to. And I've got to get used to that corner. You touch the gas at the wrong place in there and you're done for. But I think we're going to draw this to a close. I mean, look at this. Just... Ah! Okay, so obviously what can I say? It really is an amazing thing. This is kind of like some of the bits that the part that is missing from Gran Turismo for us is the ability to have other drivers on the track in VR, just because of obviously lack of processing power. You can see even where I've got a PC that
Blue
just
flag,
has.
let them pass.
Ooh. amazing. Right, let's pull this into the pit. Okay. Look at this. Look at this.
All clear. Go, go, go.
Huh? What? No. Because there's no where. But that's so cool. Anyhow, I think that's going to be it for today. I hope anybody who's come along and taken a look enjoys. Anybody who's going to watch this on the playback, forgive me for being a little bit excited on this one, actually. It's great fun. You can see where the differences lie. Obviously, there's a big difference in the amount of power you have on the PC side versus a PlayStation. Just to get that little extra bit that runs. But in terms of gameplay, I think it's just a question of War Simulator or Simulator versus a touch of arcade. And GT Sport has that touch of arcade that gives you a little bit more forgiveness. And I know that Project Cars 2 in the sim world, people may say that it's forgiving, but by comparison, not quite as much. But they are both, in of themselves, their own beasts, as it were. There we go. So, yeah, those are the two, side by side. Both have their ups, both have their downs. There are more problems facing the PSVR than there are on the PC side, just because of power. Yeah, as an experience, there's a couple of the options that just make, even, forgetting about opponents, a couple of the different things and options that are available in Project Cars 2 here on the PC that just make it that much more amazing as an experience than the PSVR. That pulls in that realism. I mean, even in the PSVR, there's only a tiny little overlay display for info, which is good. But being able to turn that off and turn that through, maybe, the whole thing of like you have in here where you actually have a helmet view so you can see that in Gran Turismo. Options like that. The option in Gran Turismo to actually have you connected into the skeleton rather than the horizon so that you get that much more harsh driving experience that you get in a real car. Because when you're in a real car and you go on a banked surface like that, the car banks and you bank with the car. If you do that in Gran Turismo, the car banks and you stay that way, which isn't quite right. So things like that, I'd love to see that fixed out. A helmet view sounds ridiculous, but it did actually add something. That would be another nice touch. Just to add that extra bit of realism, that sense of, I've got in a F1 car, I've got the helmet on, I'm ready for racing. That's that extra part that would be give Gran Turismo a little bit extra, just as this has. Even if you have different things with graphical qualities and stuff like that, there's still a lot of immersion going on in Gran Turismo Sport that, if you can keep up, it's the options sometimes that make it. and not always the graphics. And I think there's more that could be done still with Gran Turismo, just to make it more special and to bring it up in terms of standards of what it does compared to some of the others like Project Cars 2 here. I know that that's not saying much when you look at the competition that it currently has on the PlayStation, which is really just Drive Club VR. That's it. As far as real racing, of course, that doesn't count for real driving. That doesn't account for Wipeout, which of course, Wipeout is Wipeout. But anyhow, once again, thanks again for joining. There's going to be a subscribe button like that way. And there's going to be like a video kind of up there. And there's going to be another one over there. And I've got to fiddle with menus because I know my quick button isn't working. So, thank you and